Hi, my name is Elizabeth Resch. I am the owner and creative director at Velvet Mesquite. Velvet Mesquite is a wedding planning and floral design company out of Midland, Texas, but we travel all over for weddings and events. And I am going to be reacting to a video. Is it a Buzzfeed video?
Yeah.
A Buzzfeed video of wedding planners sharing their horror stories. I've got many of my own. I might share them. We might have to wait a couple years for like time to pass. But yeah, let's get going.
She's like, we have a problem. I hate lavender.
All right.
It's wedding day and everything's going absolutely perfect. Obviously, the bride needs to start a lot earlier. She's just about finishing her hair, and typically when we get at that stage, we'll start getting the groom ready. He's putting his pants on and we realize it is short and tight. He tries his shirt and it doesn't fit either. Like, everything in his garment bag does not fit him. He had his last fitting and he went to pick up the tux. I'm like, did you try it when you picked it up? No, it was the wrong tux. None of the groomsmen tux fit him. Best thing to do at that point is we gotta go buy a tux. People usually go shopping and they're like, like trying to find what they want. And here we are, like literally like two crazy people. Like, where is the dress shirts? He's so picky, but I don't like the length of this, but I don't like the fit. I want it high-waisted. I want the collar to be like that. This is too white. I ordered ivory cream. I'm like, listen. At this point, we just need to buy something and we need to go. We end up buying like 8 shirts, 6 different tuxes. I'm like literally pulling him out of the mall. He's like, this isn't what I wanted. This isn't what I wanted to look on my wedding day. I think we have to postpone. I'm like, we're not gonna postpone your wedding because you got the wrong tux. We go back, so the bride is practically ready. Once she saw him and the first look happened, she's like, babe, is this the tux? Like, it looks kind of different. We're like, oh, no. Like, it's probably just the lighting. You know, obviously, the day went by, they were happy. Like, no one even cared at the end. All I have to say is, please try on your tux when you pick it up.
Okay. This has happened. And please try on your clothes whenever you get them. Make a list of the articles that you are going to have to wear that day. Specifically men. Women almost always have the right thing. Specifically men. Make a list of the articles that you are supposed to have that day. 2 black socks, 2 of them. 2 brown shoes, 1 left, 1 right. Make sure they match. Make sure they're the same brown shoe. Not like a brown and a black or 2 left brown ones. 2 brown shoes, the right size. Either a tie or a bow tie or a vest, whatever is necessary. A white shirt, black shirt, whatever color shirt. Make sure you have a shirt. Make sure you've tried it on. Make sure you've tried the jacket on. Make sure you've tried the pants on. The pants, people, the pants. Not just the groom, but groomsmen as well. Try the pants on. My husband was recently in a wedding. They rented out their tuxes. And he tried on his attire that it like got shipped in, and it was too small, but it was too late to like exchange it. So he was in very tight pants the entire night. And that made dancing really difficult. Just make that list and then check everything off as you put it like on your dining table, and then put another check once you put it in your bag. Whatever bag it's going in, put it in that bag. And then don't touch that bag. Like that needs to be just your wedding day attire. Don't put anything else in that bag. Don't touch that bag until the day of. And then you know you have everything. As long as that bag gets in the car. Luckily for this planner and this groom, they live somewhere, LA, where they can go shopping. Most of our weddings happen in the middle of nowhere where that's not possible. That stresses me out. Make your list. Check it twice. Be Santa about this shit.
particular wedding, it took place at like a really nice kind of funky hotel in West Hollywood. Beforehand, I had some issues with the mother of the bride because they were trying to cut corners and cut costs anywhere that they could. They had a higher guest count. I told her, you know, you're gonna have to hire extra staff, you're gonna have to hire extra bartenders. People are gonna line up at the bars during cocktail hour and it's gonna be a line and no one's gonna have fun with that. But she decided against that, so
listen to your wedding planner. Our goal is never to make you just spend exuberant amounts of money. It's never, ever, ever our goal, no matter how pay structure is. But we want the best day possible, both in the way things look and the way things function. Functionality is what we are known for. So you may say, it looks really great to have one bar here and one bar like way across, or the band in this particular spot. But if that doesn't function well and nobody's going to enjoy the functionality of the space, of the concept, of the evening that you're trying to produce, then it's going to be talked about and it's going to be an issue and it's going to cause problems that day. Listen to your wedding planner. Listen to your wedding planner.
On the wedding day, of course, the bars were super backed up because after the ceremony, what do people want to do? Drink. And so she started literally going up to the bartenders and grabbing them and being like, bring water, bring wine. And at one point she smacked a server, which is assault. We had to pull her aside to be like, this is assault. Please don't do this. Obviously that was not the tone I took because on the day I'm like, can you please not do that? People almost.
Yeah, we have two personalities. Two. One is how we feel, and one is how we present.
A good Google review.
Yeah, one is how we present ourselves to the clients. Her being like, "Can you please not do that?" is very much how we always start off, and sometimes we have to change tones, and we don't want to change tones. We don't want to be that person. Sometimes we have to. And it's never like a personal thing. Like, don't take it personally. It's our job. It's literally what you've paid us to do.
We're going to press charges. It got that bad. We almost had to take the mother of the bride and, you know, remove her from the wedding day. But obviously that would be awful and something that she would never forget and the bride would never forget. So I was able to talk down the venue manager. I persuaded him with some alcohol later and said, I will buy you cocktails if you please just let this mother of the bride chill out and take a breath and take a breather. But essentially we just like put a smile on her face. I asked her to come with me. I asked her to take a deep breath, let her know that we will have extra bartenders on staff to make things go more efficiently. Moral of the story is do not assault servers, just hire extra staff.
Extra staff is so important. Again, the professionals know how much it's going to take. And sometimes that is more than you really want to pay for, but there's a reason. We're not trying to take advantage of you.
2 days before the wedding, we finish everything very early on, and I really try to give them that last week to enjoy. It's your time to go to the spa, relax. I'm not gonna bother you, and I don't want you to bother me either. Everything's absolutely perfect, and I'm gonna see you on your wedding day. So I get a call. This time it's not from the bride. I get a call from her mother-in-law, and I haven't ever heard from the mother-in-law. Like, she's not been involved in the planning process. She didn't come to any meetings. I literally met her the day they booked me, and I never saw her again. She's like, we have a problem. I heard that you guys are having lavender color flowers. And I'm like, yeah? She's like, I hate lavender. Lavender flowers was something that we discussed like last year. And she's like, well, lavender is dark, lavender is sad, lavender doesn't mean good things, yellow means prosperity, yellow has good meaning. Why didn't anyone consult with me? I should have chosen the flowers. 10 minutes later, I get a call from the bride. There is no way I'm changing the colors of my flowers. I told you the day I hired you, I love lavender flowers. I'm like, listen, don't worry, this happens all the time. We're not changing anything. No worries. It's the wedding day and everything's getting set up, and then I see a vendor loading in that like is not one of our vendors. The next thing I see like a cart roll.
A vendor loading in that is not one of the vendors that the planner has any knowledge of is our biggest fear. That and a box or boxes of decor you just purchased on your own that you think we can find a place for somewhere. just don't do that. Don't go around your planner. Don't go around your coordinator. When we tell you, hey, like, we want to be involved in all the conversations you have with people. We want to be CC'd on emails. If you've talked to someone without our knowledge, please immediately send us a follow-up email. Connect us with that vendor too, so that we can ask any questions that we have on our side. It is not because we're trying to sabotage your event. It is solely so this doesn't happen, so we know where things go, so we know what time stuff should happen, so we can do the best for you.
Rolling in by their workers with like tons of yellow flowers. And they're like, hey, we're the florists. We're here to bring the flowers. And I'm like, the flowers are like basically done. They're like, I've been hired by she said it's her son's wedding and we're bringing in the flowers. This lady obviously didn't listen to anything anyone said or anything the bride wanted. She went and hired a different florist to bring the color flowers that she likes. She ordered tons of these yellow flowers. I'm like, listen, I'll take care of it. Just please leave the flowers here. Thank you guys so much. A little bit later, the mother-in-law walks downstairs. She's like, oh my God, everything looks great. This way everyone can be happy. I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, yeah, the yellow flowers are gonna go on my tables and those are gonna be for my guests. And I'm like, my florist is not gonna let another florist to mix in flowers.
My guests? What?
I'm gonna let it play just a little bit longer, see if there's anything more I need to.
This is not how this works, honey. She's babbling on and on. No, but I ordered them. I thought this way everybody can be happy. Like, I get the yellow, she gets, not about what you get.
Okay, so the mother-in-law wants to differentiate between the bride's guest and like her family's guest and the mother-in-law's guest. Buy different flowers.
Without consulting.
Without consulting anyone. Or actually with consulting and then going against everybody's wishes. And then secondly, that florist, the hired florist, the purple florist that the bride and groom hired, probably had something in her contract that most of us have. That is, we are the sole florist for this event, for this wedding. There will be no other florist. And that is because it's our work. Like, we want our work to represent what we've done. And like, we don't come to your job and hire you as a dentist and then say, but I also brought this other dentist. So if the two of y'all could like do it at the same time, work together.
Is it like a non-compete
They're kind
clause?
of like non-compete. But it's like just the sole provider for this service. Wow. So the mother-in-law probably just broke a contract.
That she probably has nothing to do with anyway.
Right.
This isn't kindergarten. At that point, like, her hairstylist is calling her to like retouch her hair and makeup. She's so concerned about that. She leaves. She's like, you make sure to get it on those tables. I'm like, okay. As wedding planners, we have to build that harmony. I had the hotel put it in like the big table they have when you enter the lobby. She was happy. I mean, she came and she's like, it's the first thing they see. Thank you. She thought we're like honoring her. And I guess it all worked out.
Okay, so that's like building the harmony is another big point. I think we get the shit end of the stick to like, that's the kindest way I feel like I can put it. There are typically either family dynamics or client vendor dynamics that aren't going well every event. Like, it always happens. The planners are the ones that take that, or the doormat that everybody like wipes their feet on and stomps on so that it can all be a peaceful, calm event. And most of the time we don't get thanked for it. Many times our clients don't even know it's happening. Yeah, we get that.
Things happen at every single wedding. I feel like, one bad thing might happen at each wedding. There was this one wedding that I did where there were these little instances where I was like, what's going on? At the rehearsal, I was lining everyone up, doing the processional, and this little boy punched me in the He literally just came up to me and was like, It was the weirdest thing. The bride is a friend of mine. She was horrified, but the boy's mom didn't say anything. She just was kind of like, not a big deal because I'm fine, but whatever. This wedding was taking place in Santa Barbara at this adorable kind of like country, outdoor venue. So a lot of times at outdoor venues, there's the added cost of knowing that you might have to rent a tent.
Yes.
If the weather forecast is not good. These clients did not rent a tent. And because they did not rent a tent, of course, it rained. It was literally...
Just a note. always have a tent on backup because rain happens. Even in the driest of climates, rain happens when you least expect it and when you want it the least. I had a venue flood once.
People could go indoors. I felt so bad for the guests because everyone was literally holding napkins above their head. There was one woman that was like holding a napkin over her head, and who I assume was her date was like feeding her food. It was so awful. And then at the end of the night, dances are done, everyone's good and schwasty, and we had hired vans because this is kind of like a very windy road, and of course we don't want anyone to drive drunk. When the vans arrived to take 100+ guests back into town to their hotels, we smelled something and we were like, huh, what's that? And then I had a conversation with the drivers and I was like, oh, you're for sure hot. I can't drive people because it's a huge liability. One of the groomsmen was a sheriff, so he wanted to like press charges and like get these people arrested. Luckily, we were able to be like, hey, let's just end the night. It was a fantastic night. So I was like, who can I get? Who is sober? Who can drive all these people back to town? There was a restaurant that was attached to this venue, and luckily a few of the kitchen guys had not gone home yet. And I was like, hey, if I give you some cash right now, can you drive these 2 vans into town and then drive them back and do that one more time until all the guests are back in town? And they were like, yeah, cool. There were like little instances that happened, but I still loved that wedding because the bride and the groom were phenomenal.
The worst weddings, like things can go the most wrong over and over and over again. And it can be like to no one's fault. Things just happen. But if the bride and the groom, or the bride and the bride, or the couple is kind and sweet and caring, we would go through a tsunami and back to like do whatever we could for them. It's being kind goes so far. Being kind to your vendors goes so far. We will give you things that we would typically charge for just because we're like, oh my God, they were so nice. That was such a nice thing that they just said. We will stay longer than we're supposed to. We'll help do things that aren't on our contract. It just be a good human and you will get rewarded for it. I really liked that one.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
There's so much stuff, so much juice.
I feel so connected to each of those planners. Horror stories happen. Every wedding has something, whether it's just like a little thing or a big thing. But that's the job of the planner, is to take that little tidbit and make it seem like it never happened to the best of our ability. That's what we're good at, and that's why you pay money for us. Typically, your aunt or cousin or sister that says they can plan it for you or coordinate for you can't do the same. Yeah, tune in next time.